Hello and welcome to CoreTV News at 7. I am Frank Omalape, and here are some of the stories we're filing at this time. The police authorities have redeployed controversial Assistant Inspector General of Police Joseph Mbu to Lagos ahead the February elections. He is one of 13 senior police officers who have been redeployed to new formations by Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba. 15 others, however, retained their seat in the major shake-up announced in a statement issued by police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu. Mbu will until now was AIG in charge of Zone 7 Abuja is to replace Umaru Manko, who has been posted to the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies as study director. Adoro Shinaba, who was Commissioner of Police in Kano, is now the AIG Zone 4 in Makurdi. And now the Army has denied having the school certificate of the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Muhammadu Buhari. Army spokesman Olajide Laleye told journalists in Abuja that it only has a letter of recommendation from the principal of the school attended by the retired general. He added that the Army, however, has the admission form filled in which the former head of state indicated that he obtained credit in 4 subjects and a pass.
Gentlemen of the press, let me state clearly that the Nigerian Army holds the retired senior officer in very high esteem and respect and would not be a party to any controversy surrounding his eligibility for any political office. Suffice to state that Major General Buhari rose steadily to the enviable rank of Major General in the Nigerian Army before becoming the head of state of our dear country in December 1983. However, the media hype on retired Major General Muhammadu Buhari's credentials, as well as the numerous requests made by individuals and corporate bodies to the Nigerian Army on this issue of his credentials, have necessitated that we provide the facts as contained in the retired senior officer's service record. Now, the records available indicate that Major General Muhammadu Buhari applied to join the military as a Form 6 student of the Provincial Secondary School, Katsina, on 18 October 1961. His application was duly endorsed by the principal of the school, who also wrote a report on him and recommended him to be suitable for military commission. The selection board verifies the original copies of the credentials that are presented. However, there is no available record to show that this process was followed in the 1960s. Nevertheless, the entry made on the Nigerian Army Form 199A at the point of documentation after commission as an officer indicated that the former head of state obtained the West African School Certificate in 1961 with credits in relevant subjects, namely English language, geography, history, health science, Hausa, and then a pass in English literature. However, neither the original copy, the certified true copy, that is CTC, nor the statement of result of Major General Muhammadu Buhari's West African School Certificate result is in his personal file.
And now a mammoth of party supporters across northern Nigeria on Monday converged in Kaduna to hear presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, reels out his plans to revive the textile industries and other moribund local production plants. He told the party faithful that he would turn things around in his first 2 years if elected into the office of president. Buhari, who addressed the crowd of supporters at Murtala Mohammed Square in Kaduna, lamented that a city that was once the industrial hub of northern Nigeria and a hub of textile production in Africa is now a shadow of its former glory. Muhammadu Buhari blamed the situation on corruption, which he said had in the last 16 years characterized PDP rule in Kaduna State. He also urged his supporters not to be violent or attack anyone, but to cast their votes and protect their votes in a peaceful manner. The rally had in attendance APC bigwigs, including former Lagos State Governor and national leader of the party, Bola Tinubu, Director General of the Buhari Osinbajo campaign, and Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, Governor Aliyu Wamako, Speaker Aminu Tambuwal, as well as APC governorship candidate in Kaduna, Nasiru El-Rufai. And now a coalition of 60 civil society groups in the country has described the recent front-page advert in selected national newspapers as a breach of the Abuja Accord signed by a leading presidential candidate. The Nigerian Civil Society in Situations Room says the wraparound advert, which were allegedly paid for by the Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayoshi, falls into category of hate speech. The coalition said in a statement issued in Abuja that it was disappointed that such a publication could emanate from a highly placed political office holder. It equally condemned the newspapers which published the advertisement for violating their duty of promoting national cohesion at a critical time in the life of the country. Yes, the CSO coalition noted that by including photographs of former head of state and president of northern origin who had died in office, Fayoshi appeared to suggest that a similar fate awaits Muhammadu Buhari if elected president. And now the National Fundraising Committee of the All Progressive Congress has promised to run an accountable and transparent fundraising towards achieving victory for its presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari at the polls in February. Chairman of the committee and Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola stated this at the unveiling of the Muhammadu Buhari Osinbajo National Fundraising Committee. Our correspondent Abiola Aluwole was there. The report is presented from our studios. The media parley, according to Governor Fashola, is to sensitize willing Nigerians on how to donate towards the Muhammadu Buhari campaign. Fashola says different platforms have been adopted by the fundraising committee to make the process of donating easy for those willing to do so.
We have partnered with 5 banks to start, and those 5 banks are First Bank, Zenith Bank, Access Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, and Eco Bank. And they have agreed to provide platforms for those who want to pay by cash lodgements at the banks.
He, however, maintained that banks and telecom companies partnering the committee are doing so for commercial purpose without any partisan consideration.
Let me say that all the businesses and platforms that we have partnered with have no partisan position to the best of my knowledge. This is a purely commercial transaction. They are simply putting forward their platforms and providing professional services, and this is important for me to say before the ruling party starts to threaten their businesses.
Fashola noted that the committee will ensure strict adherence to the nation's constitution and electoral law in the process of raising funds for its presidential candidate. Members of the committee include Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso of Kano, former Governor Olagusoyi Oyinlola, a former Commissioner for Finance in Lagos State, Wale Edu, amongst others from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. With less than a month into 2015 general election, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says President Goodluck Jonathan does not have the moral grounds to seek a re-election from Nigerians due to what he described as a below-average performance in the last 6 years. Fashola stated these at the All Progressive Congress rally in Kushofe local government area. A correspondent, Abiola Aluwole, who was there, reports that the campaign was marred by violence. The Oworoshoki playing ground venue of the APC Kushofe rally was filled with party faithful drumming support for their candidates. One after the other, party leaders mounted the podium to address the crowd. They spoke on the importance of working for the success of 4 candidates of the All Progressive Congress in the general election. Governor Fashola says the PDP-led federal government has failed Nigerians across sectors of the economy.
Mr. President can say everything he likes about how he does not want a violent election, about how nobody's life is worth the election. Yes, we hear him, but leadership is not by words, it is by action. Nigeria is in one chance with PDP. They can't find our daughters in Chibok. I'm sure if those children, any one of them was his child, he won't be contesting election.
The Lagos APC governorship candidate Akinwumi Ambode decried the slashing of the fuel pump price from 97 to 87 naira by the federal government, saying such a step is hypocritical.
They say they have reduced the price of fuel. Please, is that what we want? Let's just hold on. Let's ask them. We want to speak about the real issues that concern you. Have you asked them? Let us ask them again. What about the missing $20 billion? What about the subsidy scam? That scam is running in billions. If we are able to get our money back, we'll be able to use it for road construction. We'll be able to use it to alleviate poverty. We'll be able to use that money to solve unemployment issues.
However, it took the intervention of the police to quell a clash between rival groups of the party thugs who were engaged in a battle for supremacy in the course of the rally. As parties intensify campaigns ahead of general elections, political observers are praying for a peaceful process before, during, and after the polls. And now the Kwara State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has accused the All Progressive Congress of plans to rig the forthcoming general elections. Making the accusation at the inauguration of its campaign committee, the PDP accused the APC of buying voter cards for the purpose of malpractices ahead of general elections. Our correspondent Rashid tells us more.
The Kwara PDP kickstarts its various campaigns in the state on a firebrand note. The party, which claims a united front, accuses the ruling APC of plans to rig the forthcoming elections.
That has no hope of winning the election, that you rely solely on rigging, because the people of Kwara have said they don't want them again. It's no longer fighting. We are not quarreling among ourselves. The event that happened during the primary is normal in democracy. After somebody has emerged, all others have come together to work with that person and assure that we control the government of Kwara State by February or by May this year.
Chairman of Kwara PDP, Iyola Oyedepo, who describes the governorship tenures of Bukola Saraki and Abdul Fattah Ahmed as questionable, says the PDP is now poised to occupy the Kwara government house.
That has been in place for 12 years. We need to now hold them accountable. Superb fund for 12 years. They need to account for some people for 4 or 5 years and several other things that they need to account for. So if they now tell you that they have gone far, they have not gone far at all. Within a very short time, we shall not only meet them, we shall overtake them. And we are going to hold them accountable for their years in the service of Kwara. Swear on your farm that by the grace of God, I will work out to secure victory for PDP.
With Bola Shagaya as chairman advisory committee, Shoaib Abdurrahman Oba as chairman of the campaign committee, and John Dara as the director general, the PDP says it is ready to roll out issue-based campaigns ahead of February polls.
The time has come for the PDP campaign train to now start rolling and moving all over Kwara State. The people of Kwara State have been waiting for this moment when the campaign train will roll out. Now we have the mandate of the leadership of the party to keep going. And I tell you, there will be no dull moment until victory is won.
What kind of campaign should people expect from you now that the campaign of calumny has actually facilitated?
Our campaign will be based on issues. It will be based on facts. It will be based on the reality on the ground in Kwara State. For us in Kwara State, we are confident.
The PDP, according to some observers, no doubt have an uphill task ahead to wrest power from the ruling APC as the February battle date draws near. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
On your farm, that by the grace of God, I will work out to secure victory for PDP.
The Independent National Electoral Commission says the commission will mobilize youth for a peaceful election process at the forthcoming polls. The commission chairman, who was represented at a youth summit for peaceful elections in Abuja, charged the youth to resist and also a financial inducement that may lead to violence. He called on them to embrace peace rather than violence before, during, and after the elections. A correspondent, Pius Samuel, has more.
They have come from all geopolitical zones of the country for a summit on violence-free elections in the country. This is one out of many summits that have been held in recent times to sensitize youth ahead of the elections. Speakers at the event urged the youth to be ambassadors of peace, irrespective of their differences.
A major shortcoming on youth involvement in the political process include low participation of youth in the election of political leaders at all levels, and manipulation of youth by turning them into tools of political intimidation and violence.
Because participation brings that answer out. Participation in the process, in the democratic process and other processes of nation building, will be able to clearly state what the Nigerian youth stands for. So we want to thank the organizer for the last time and continue to encourage Nigerian youth to participate in the development of our country.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is concerned over what it described as acts of thuggery during elections, which has claimed many lives in the past. To ensure this does not repeat itself in the forthcoming election, the Commission urged the youths to resist the temptation of money to perpetrate violence.
The Commission decided to exploit the strength, impartiality, and dedication of our youth in some aspects of our electoral process, and we have not regretted that decision. In great moments of threatening national crisis, emotional restraint is critically needed. The post-election violence of 2011 is an experience the nation is not proud of, and the Commission is doing everything possible to ensure that there is no repeat of that incident in this country.
For the youths who are attending the summit, they say it is a time to share experience and learn from the mistakes of the past. So, one after the other, they voiced their expectations from the summit.
So what we do now is we take this message back to my place and we do our sensitization and tell them, okay, this is it. And we go about campaigns, telling them that, okay, you need to no violence.
Well, it's expected that at the end of this summit, that all the participants, all the youths who came here would have learned some specific ways to handle conflicts, more especially during elections.
I would never participate in the electoral violence, and that is why I always have a contrary view to summits of this nature. I always want a situation whereby INEC will work with CBOs at grassroots. You understand, these people are those that are actually close to the vulnerable groups. The Black Marketers Association, they have a group, they have leadership, and they listen to their leadership. The Kekena people, they have leadership. These are groups you find perpetrating electoral violence. The informal Quranic schools, the Al-Majiri boys, those boys are the people you find perpetrating electoral violence. You can walk up to Al-Majiri school, walk with the Malam there, campaign to them, walk to mechanic workshops where you have all these vulnerable groups, use their leaders, campaign to them, you understand? I'm telling you, you will have more results than bringing in intellectuals like me and you here to discuss about issues. I will never engage in electoral violence.
You're still watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a short break and I'll be back for more stories after this time out. Jijanske.
My name is Akim Miyambode. I'm contesting to be the next governor of our great state, Lagos. The safety of lives and property is paramount to peace and development. Our government will commit to a safe and attractive community to all residents and visitors alike by undertaking to continue to support and expand the State Security Trust Fund. We are committed to the protection of the rights of every citizen and enforce all laws that allow peaceful coexistence in the state. We will undertake security and justice sector reforms. We will make Lagos the envy of all.
Vote Akinwumi Ambode for Governor of Lagos State.
If you just joined us, this is CoreTV News at 7, broadcasting live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. For more information on our news and other programs, like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. And our YouTube page is youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. And now the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos, Jimi Agbaje, has expressed dissatisfaction of the crisis hovering around the distribution and collection of the permanent voter cards. The development has resulted in several complaints against the Independent National Electoral Commission, which has continued to assure Nigerians that it is working tirelessly on the distribution of the cards. Agbaje has, however, expressed fear that a lot of people in Lagos may not be able to vote on the election day due to what he called the shoddy PVC distribution exercise.
We're still not satisfied with the INEC, with the issue of voters' cards. There are a lot of Lagosians that are disenfranchised at this point in time because they don't have their voters' cards. The computer completely through no fault of theirs, and when your name is wiped out, it means the only way forward is to register fresh. But then INEC was not ready for the kind of fresh registration that would bring about. Vote, register and vote. They found that they had been located far away from where they stay. On election day, it will become difficult for them to go and vote because of the restriction of movement. There are those, of course, the younger ones who wanted to register but could not because a lot of the machines were not working because the time frame was short.
It's the CoreTV News at 7. We'll take another break shortly. We'll be back with more stories. Join us again.
My name is Akinwumi Ambode. I'm contesting to be the next governor of our great state, Lagos. The safety of lives and property is paramount to peace and development. Our government will commit to a safe and attractive community to all residents and visitors alike by undertaking to continue to support and expand the state's Security Trust Fund. We are committed to the protection of the rights of every citizen and enforce all laws that allow peaceful coexistence in the state. We will undertake security and justice sector reforms. We will make Lagos the envy of all.
Vote Akinwumi Ambode for Governor of Lagos State.
Outside Nigeria now, U.S. lawmakers visiting Havana voiced hope Monday that historic talks between U.S. and Cuban officials this week will mark a new era of relations, ending decades of Cold War-era hostility. The six-member delegation of congressional Democrats, led by Senator Patrick Leahy, met Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez as well as dissident and Cardinal Jaime Ortega during their two-day visit. Their trip preceded talks on Wednesday and Thursday between Cuban officials and the highest-ranking U.S. delegation to visit Havana since the 1980s. The meeting will be the first since the historic announcement in December by U.S. President Barack Obama and Cuban leader Raul Castro that their countries will normalize ties that broke off in 1961.
To Cuban arts, to Cardinal Ortega, who had worked with me and others to facilitate via the Vatican discussions with Pope Francis and President Obama.
This is historic. We were frozen in the same foreign policy with Cuba for over 50 years. Finally, this president came to the realization that that policy wasn't serving the best ends of the United States or of Cuba or of the world. And now we're moving to a new era. It's more than opening trade.
And it's a wrap on CoreTV News at 7. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Komalape. Don't forget to join us at 9:45 for our primetime bulletins. Good evening.